Hello everyone, Day Trading Radio here. I just started the video, so I'm going to actually do a proper introduction. DayTraderRockStar here on Day Trading Radio. We're going to do a video tonight on a couple interesting topics, news-based topics, and I was talking about it all day on the show, DayTradingRadio.com. I'm talking about that 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock time
Order
frame.
filled.
And that was our profits being taken on the bot here. Now the bot has just been, let's see what's going on. Order filled. And then it says 3 left, sell 3. But there's only 2 up there. So this is an issue I'm having on the bot. I'm down to a point where the bot is now almost completed. And I'm working on some of the trailing stops on this. You can see this is working really well now. This has a stop. This has a trail on it. The question is, all right, it sells 1. It says sell 1 here. It says sell, hold on 1. So this actually is working. The problem is the original stop. But I don't want to get complicated. Welcome back to the show. The market here just popped, and one of the topics of the show are going to be areas at night in the evening that you could trade using these divergent signals, using the bot, using whatever technique you want to use, and expecting a big, you're going to need volatility to come into the market at one point to get these moves. And so you have to surround yourself, especially in the evening, with time frames that will tend to bring in volatility or bring in action into the market, which will be the opening of foreign markets. So we have the 8 o'clock Eastern time right now. Now, again, forgive me for not knowing offhand. I don't know what time it is in Asia. What time is it in Asia? Alexa, what time is it in China right now?
The time in China is 8:04 a.m. on Thursday.
8:04. So, all right. So, exactly 12 hours opposite. All right, so what the point is, those markets will begin opening up as we come across Europe, and starting in Asia to Europe, and then eventually back to the U.S. And during those time frames, like we have our pre-market time frame, when we start to see news drop, it's usually in the morning around 8:30, 8:15 sometimes, sometimes 9 o'clock, and then sometimes 10 o'clock, 10:30, we have oil inventories. So these are the times you want to look for, and these are the times you want to trade. And you want to not waste your time at other points of the market where you're not getting that activity. So this is a great time from 8 o'clock Eastern time, 2000 hours, till about, again, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And then the next time frame we're going to be talking about is the opening of the European markets, which we'll start looking at that around the 3 o'clock time frame as it approaches 3:30, and that's where it really picks up. And then again, from that point on, then we get into the U.S. pre-market, and that could be very active from 3 o'clock on. So depending on how you like to trade, if you like to trade overnight, 3 o'clock is probably the time you need to be focused in the market. And if you just want to hang out and trade a one time frame at night, this is probably the good time frame to do
Order
it
filled.
before you go to bed. So there's our stops. Our stop loss just took hit on my machine here. I'm up $712 over here off of that setup right there on the ES. Wow, that can't be. Well, I think it was up earlier on that, but I'm actually running this on a sim, so don't give me too much credit. I'm just running this over, just testing this new script out. So Tokyo markets are open at 8 p.m. And when they open up, and the reaction on that market pushes the U.S. markets in the futures. So that's what we had right here. So that was actually a good time to start this video, because this is what we were going to focus. Now, there is a good website I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you a good website, just kind of to help you keep track of these time frames. All right, so let me bring this up on the screen here. See if I can find it. I had a bunch of stuff up, all set up for us. Oh, here we are. All right, so here it is. This is the, again, I want to just show you the, it's investing.com, investing.com, and they have an economic calendar on here. This is great to kind of get yourself familiar with, and you should have your own calendar on your screen, on your, on your desktop, just to kind of remind you of different opens, market opens, maybe even make it audio alerts on your, there's a lot of fun things you can do with your computer to kind of keep you in check with the markets. I guess if I had that time. And you know what? That's a great thing for the show. You know what? Let's have an audio alert telling us when the markets are going to open up. 5 minutes till U.S. Open, 5 minutes till Asia Open, 5 minutes to European Open. And you know what? I want to make those. I could do that and have those broadcast. So I want to do that. Not now, but I want to write that down, and I'll get to it in a couple of years. Economic calendar, great thing to have it on investing.com. So this is where you want to look at all day. Up here on the top here, you could actually pick your time zone. Pull down menu, pick your time zone wherever you are. And then you're actually going to just, just kind of update you on things. You got to know that certain things are going to be more important. Now, there's not much here. This really breaks down everything, the whole week. You could go for the day. You could go just to the day, today, yesterday. You can see it up here. Let me move it up a little. There. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, this week, next week. You could really break break down the filters here. I didn't even think about doing the filters. So that's even better. Look at this. This is even better. I just made my life a lot easier. I mean, do I want Brazil? Not really. Canada, not really. China, yes. Eurozone, yes. France, I could care less. Italy, no, doesn't need it. Japan, we'll leave it up there. New Zealand, sorry guys. Russia, sorry. Just doesn't move the market. Singapore, no. South Africa, no. Spain, no. South Korea, I know all about it. Switzerland, no. United Kingdom, yeah, we'll leave it up. The United States, we'll leave it there. India, I'll leave Hong Kong there. Germany, I'll leave that. All right, Eurozone, I'll leave that. And then I hope this is filtered in now. I mean, is it automatically filtered in if I go to today? Let's see. Yeah, it looks like Europe, US. All right, so this is going to be for current time. This goes into the evening hours. Now, there's no real overnight news apparently in China or Japan. Japan, we actually had some. But let's go into tomorrow just to kind of give you an update on how this works. Early morning hours. Here we have the U.S. jobs report, jobless claims. It's Thursday. We have the jobless claims, continuous jobless claims, new claims. That's always at 8:30 on a Thursday. Core PCE prices. So you have all this in front of you. I mean, I think like what we're talking about at other times that you could trade, especially looking for Chinese action. So we have the manufacturing PMI tomorrow at 2100 hours. Non-manufacturing PMI. And I give you the estimates, and I would look for the market to bounce on that. So right now that 2100 hours tomorrow is going to be probably an area in the market that's going to give you a volatile move. It could go either way. I mean, you could take a guess. It's like throwing the dice. Or usually, lots of times we'll see a divergence set up in that time frame too. And we see a divergence. We see a divergence set up. Then you might as well just take it because lots of times the divergence knows what's going on.
Tradeometer YM overbought.
Oh, I didn't need to do that.
Tradeometer ES overbought.
I should have just left that on there. All right. You know what? I didn't even go into the other things that you could actually hear. We have the holidays, all the holidays listed, which is nice, and different country holidays when the market is closed. So this is just a lot of good information on the earnings. For earnings and stuff, I use briefing.com. I like their earnings. But there's so many places to get the earnings. This is another good one. And earnings across the world. That's what's good about this. So, again, don't forget currency counters, economic calendars, where it all began. So that's just a small video I wanted to put out there, just showing you what we're going to be using in the future. I'll get these automated. I have it written down to automate. That way we kind of be on top of it. But just to conclude the whole segment here, what are the important parts of the market? What important time frames do we need to be trading at? Let's start at the U.S. Open. Of course, the U.S. Open, 9:30. We're not even get to, well, let's start the pre-market here. A lot of pre-market activity starting around 8:30, going into 9 o'clock, 9:15. That whole time from, probably from 8 o'clock to 9:30, the Open, and then beyond that level. And then at 9:50 is a great level to watch, 9:50 for reversals. I actually took a trade on 9:50 today, and I got a nice trade on it. Just took a futures trade into that 9:50, and I think there was a tradeometer set up also. So that worked out good. I'll see if I can go back to that 9:50, and you can actually sometimes see some good level here. This was a 9:50 bounce right here. Look at this. And that was a nice move. It was actually a very nice move. A little trend line here, pulled back, kind of chopped around. And then it looks like almost a divergence set up. I didn't take a good look at that. It was more in the time frame, and we got a nice move. Then it pulled back, flagged out, moved down. And we look at these time frames as we go out on this. The first hour of the trade here at 10:30 is interesting. A lot of people look at the 9:30, 10:30 range and go the direction of the trade on the breakout of those highs and lows of that time frame. So if you have a 9:30, 10:30 high and low, you trade the direction of the first breakout. In this case, it would be down. And as you can see, the market did pull down, and you can actually see that 9:30 low here actually hold up pretty good at this point, and we kind of dropped back and then finally got back above it. But that first test of it, and eventually dropped back down, a lot of chop. So again, 9:50 reversal, 10:30. Just watch that level. The lunchtime here, typically 12. A lot of people like to do the 2-hour lunch. I like to be in the markets back at least by 1:30. I would believe in that 1 hour. I think activity comes back in around 1:15, 1:30. You start to see the volume starting to come back up. And then I used to trade at what was called a 220 reversal. 220 reversal at 220. This was back in the day, back in the probably the early 90s. We used this. And I don't see it working that much, but here again at 220 we dropped off, so it was actually a perfect 220 move down here. 3 o'clock, always the last hour of the trade. We sometimes see rallies, and right off of this 3 o'clock, and we actually did see that. Another good time zone, and again we mentioned it today. Whenever you have a steep sell-off overnight and you start the morning off deep in the red, look for a bounce between 9 and 9:15. 9 and 9:15, we look for that bounce. We had a little small bounce here. I think we took that trade. I took a couple of trades today, just on time frames. I wanted to stay out of the chop until I felt the market was doing something I understood, but it was just too much chatter and not enough information out there. So the time frames are what it was for me today. And again, tomorrow we'll look at the same thing, 9:50, 220. The overnight trades, once we get past the 4 o'clock close, then we're talking about, we just talked about it earlier today, the Asian markets moving around 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We have usually economic news and opening of markets between 2000 hours and which is 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm putting these in Eastern time. You have to adjust your own time frame. So that would be 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern time in the evening. Usually a good time to be here. And then there's some later, some data points later on, and we'll cover those. So that's about it. I just want to cover some of those levels and pass that on to you. But more importantly, the overnight trades, because if you're trading the futures and you want to get a good setup, that 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you usually have an opportunity. We'll call that, just an opportunity trade here. All right, I'm going to close this out, send that out.